What's going on, guys? This is Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs, and we are live. This is a Sunday shipping blog type episode. Topic of the day, for those of you just rolling in, is going to be buy it now versus auction. Very popular topic. I'm getting a ton of questions on that, and just thought this live show and the platform would be a good way to do that. Oh, sorry about that. So, have to share while people are starting to filter in. And hi, Parrothead, thanks for joining. One of the funnier things, I've been struggling with my mic for the last, I don't know, like 2 or 3 times with Google Hangouts. It's been an issue. And Shannon goes, is there a mute button on that mic? Yes, last night. So I took a peek, and on the underside of my mic is a mute button that was hit. And that's why it wasn't working. So if you guys can just let me know in the chat that my audio is good. I think it's all good. Hey, Zach, what's up? Zach and Chelsea. Hi, guys. But yeah, so Shannon was the IT expert and solved my issue for me. So guilty as charged for not figuring out the mic. While people are filtering in, I am just going to jump in and go over what sold this weekend. It's actually, March has been pretty awesome. Sales have picked up a lot. Oh, sounds good, Zach. I see all those Instagram stories on the remodel. Looking good. It's nice to see that you can cut drywall effectively. Hi, Robin. Thanks for stopping in. I'm going to jump right in. So Hager New Tags pants. I wouldn't normally pick up Hager, but I find these New Tags all the time around here. They sold for $20, shipped in them for $4, just pants are, so not a bad flip. This is, and I know you can't see because in the plastic, but this is it's like a window pane, navy blue. It's a Joseph A. Bank signature gold, which is their higher end line. And it sold for, I think I saw her $38. In it for $5. It'll ship for about $5.95 flat rate, so not too bad. Hi, Janet. Hi, Lisa and Jennifer. Thanks for stopping in, guys. These 2 sales are pretty interesting, especially since last week we talked about returns and just kind of the mentality of handling returns, how that works. This is a perfect example of why you can't sweat the returns. So this blazer is a Hickey Freeman blazer. It's like a woven blue pattern. And sold it for $55 the first time, got returned. Sold it for $64 the second time, got returned. And I've just sold it again for $53. So returns happen. It doesn't normally happen that many times with one item. I did check all this stuff, and I actually asked the last buyer, I said, did it just not fit right, or were there measurements that were off? And he said, no, it just didn't fit right in the shoulders. So I did update the listing with that. That is a little small in the shoulders, and off it goes for the 3rd time. So you just really can't sweat those the returns. This is a shirt as well that was returned. I sold it once for about $28. It's G-Star. It's the correct line, raw. And I sold it again for $25. So just to show you can sell things that have been returned. Hi, Ellen. Thanks for stopping in. Shannon's downstairs. She's got done listing a bunch of items. I've been working on my storage unit all day. Got up a couple more shelves. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you saw the little tour I gave. Hi, Larry. Thanks for stopping in. So this is an example of how I still make mistakes all the time. This is a Mountain Khakis Pearl Snap shirt, and I was super excited when I found it. It's like a heavy canvas material. Mountain Khakis is amazing to sell. The sell-through is just 100% on everything. And unfortunately, a Pearl Snap was broke on it. I didn't inspect it well enough, so I had to sell it with a flaw. I still got $16 for it, which actually I was really happy with, but probably could have got like 35 had it not had that. So. The name of her store, I'm not sure. Just email her at her channel if you want. Arwen, if for Shannon's store, she'll send it to you via email. I'm actually not sure. She just created it a week ago, and I'm honestly not sure. Hey, Mike, what's up? Thanks for stopping in, man. All right, Joseph A. Bank, New Tags. I find tons of New Tag stuff. We have a lot of outlets around us. These sold for $27.99. Picked them up for $4. Probably have to send them $5.95 flat rate. Hi, Scott. This is a women's Columbia PFG. The women's stuff sells not as good as the men's, but this sold for $18.99, so not bad for a $4 pickup, and it'll go first class without a doubt. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for stopping in. Glad you caught me live. Congrats on the first haul. Hey, no problem. All I'm doing is try to share with you guys. All right, Peter Millar. This was a cool one. So this was like it's like a heavy soft cotton vest, and it's quarter zip. Yeah, quarter zip vest. It sold for $28.99. In it for $4. For those of you who are starting to learn about jeans, silver jeans, you need to put those in your memory bank. They are a home run. These just sold today for $40. I took a best offer. Probably could have got a little higher, but when you're in them for $5, you could just go let them go for $40. Hi, Jared. You know, you guys hear me every week say, pick up your Ralph Lauren if you can get it at a good price. I know sometimes it's challenging with your thrift store prices, but $4. Sold this for $19.99. Just sold today, actually, while I was doing my storage unit. So that'll go. Nice little flip. Here again, another Ralph Lauren. This is an XL tall, classic fit, and this went for $18.99. And jumping back to jeans, I'm trying to get to these guys quick so we can spend a lot of time on the topic in Q&A. Here's Lucky Brand, and these Lucky Brand men's jeans sell awesome for me. These are $28.99. I sold them for, and picked them up for $5. They'll go $5.95. Answer the question. There's a question in the chat about, will silver jeans sell? All silver jeans will sell, even flawed will sell. You just have to price them appropriately. And Jared, I'm not sure how to think about that. I sell such a diverse amount of clothing. I'm not sure if I have a concrete bin. Hi, Max. Thanks for stopping in. And I don't know the size of my mannequin. I'm sorry. I bought it like 3 years ago. But it fits pretty much every size shirt except for a extra small. So I don't know whatever that means to you. This was another Hickey Freeman blazer. It was a silk wool blend, navy blue. Sold it for $40. Picked it up for $5. It'll go for $5.95. And Parrot Head, yeah, I think they're a more regional brand. They definitely have a presence here in North Carolina. They're definitely like a hiking outdoor, probably like Midwest type brand. Oh, you don't come across them in the Midwest. Interesting. I would have thought they'd be up there too. But yeah, I think they're definitely a more regional brand. They're kind of in the same ballpark as like Duluth Trading Company. Here is a Patagonia, Patagonia plaid shirt. I've had this for a long time. I let it go for $26. I normally get more than that for them, but I took a best offer. I've had it for like now 10, 12 months. So I was pretty cool with getting rid of it. I'm going to speed through. We got a bunch of Ralph Lauren stuff I'm not going to go over. I sold like 7 more Ralph Lauren shirts. It's been a crazy weekend for those. This is an Under Armour yellow polo shirt. I know you can't see, but it's got the TPC Sawgrass, which is a local course around here. It's a good PGA course. Sold this for $19. And that for $4. It'll ship first class. And then here's a brand that everyone might know about, and I just learned it when I moved down here. It's called Donald Ross, and it is I've only found their golf polos. They're like dry fit, and this is like a purple. Sold this for $27. So I think you can get a little more than that, but they're pretty good. Thanks, Max. I appreciate the kind words. I'm glad you're getting going, and no doubt, just put that effort out. You'll start crushing in no time. This was a suit. We only had a couple more, and then we'll jump in the topic. So this was a suit. Joseph A. Bank. This was actually like their low line. I don't really pick these up for suits, but it was a gray Glen plaid. I'm not sure if you can see the pattern on it. Gray Glen plaid with window pane. So I picked this up, sold it for $55.99. I get suits for $10. It'll probably ship for around 10, so still a decent amount of margin there. Here's another example of making mistakes. So this is an Eaton of Sweden shirt. Not sure you can see that tag. It's a great brand. I always pick it up. However, it had 2 stains on it that I overlooked. So I let this go for, I actually got $14 with 2 stains. They're probably like the size of a dime. But still got $14 for it. Just disclosed them fully, made it very obvious to the buyer, and got some money back on that. Lacoste, a little gator there. This is a pink short sleeve polo. Sold it for $18.99. It did have a flaw in it, just like 2 little dots. So good flip there. And then the last 2, I found this. This is an LL Bean. It is a lamb's wool, made in Scotland. And it's like a dark gray argyle. I sold it for $20. Took a best offer. Probably could have got a little more, but I'm only in it for $4, so still a decent flip. And then last here is this Orbis. It's a houndstooth, brown houndstooth dress shirt. Sold it for $23. and pretty good flip in it for 4. So it's been a pretty good weekend of sales. I'm definitely seeing a huge pickup moving into March here. I know February is a little slow for a lot of people. I'm at about $1,000 in sales already, actually about $1,100 through these first 5 days. So it's a pretty awesome start to the month. Hoping to keep it rolling. And Kevin, I'll answer questions here in a little bit. I'm going to jump into the show topic, and then we'll do live Q&A here at the end. I'll carve out at least 10 minutes at the end and answer whatever questions people have. But I really want to talk about buy it now versus auction and whether to use best offer, because those seem to be the questions I'm getting quite a bit on a daily basis from people on my videos and through email. And I thought, first of all, I'll talk about what I do, but then I want to talk about why I do it, because that'll make more sense to what fits for you. So I don't think there's a definite answer, and I know some of you aren't going to like this, but there isn't a right answer because it's very dependent on what you're trying to accomplish. So for me, I use buy it now for 95, 97% of my listings, and I auction off my ties, and the only reason I use auctions is just to get the free listing, not because auction is the best way to sell the tie. It's just because I get free amount of listings per month in my source subscription, so I just use the ties for that. I use buy it now because I'm asking for a higher price. Like I'm looking at that 75% to 100% top line price for my item, and I'm waiting for that perfect buyer, right? It's not like I have an item that I'm going to list it, and 10 minutes later I have 30 people looking at it and they all want to buy it. It's going to fly off the shelf. If that was the case, I would auction everything. And so I guess that's where I want to get to, is talking about why you would auction something versus why you would buy it now. And I think about buy it now as a retail store. So when you walk into Target, you don't stand at the front of the store with one item and everyone auctions and bids on it until someone pays the highest price and it's good, or until the auction's over. You walk into Target, there's a defined price, you buy it. Now, best offer adds a little bit of the complexity of you can get it a little cheaper, so you're haggling up front, but still there's a defined parameter and it's a set price and you're walking into. So like that's how in my simple head, I view buy it now. Auction is more of, when I would use auction is if I had something that was super rare, highly sought after, where I know it's gonna get a lot of traffic and there's way more value to be had from people bidding on it over and over and over. That's when I would use auction. Now there's one other reason why I would use auction, and that is if you need to sell something in a defined period of time, right? And so that's the other big purpose for auction that people sometimes overlook. And that's why, for me, there isn't a right way, because I know lots of sellers who do all auction. And for them, they're buying a set amount of items per week. They want them all to end in that week, and they want to unload 75 to 80% of them. Even if it's just at break even or slightly profitable, they're going to offset all the ones they profit on. But that's a high volume approach. So that's a lot of labor, right? I'm listing a couple hundred items a week. They're all ending. I have to ship all of them all in one big batch. So that approach can work for you. But for me, I work full time. I have limited hours to build my business. So buy it now allows me to scale without the crunch of the auction ending and having to service that customer at the end of that period. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. I think for most part-time sellers, I highly, highly recommend using buy it now for clothing, because you're waiting for the specific buyer, right? That's looking for the size, the brand, the color, the style, all these different variables, the material, and they're looking for that, and you're waiting for that buyer to find you. So using an auction is not a real good approach for that. Also, it allows you to sit back and wait for the best value, because it is a very specific buyer you're looking for. So for those of you who are building your business part-time, similar to me, I think that I've modeled and at least shown that it's effective if you want to wait for that top end. If cash flow is not an issue, and that's the other wild card, right? If you don't need immediate cash right now, the best thing you can do is wait for that higher ticket price to build your inventory up. And the more items you get in your inventory, the more sales you're going to have. And you can ask for that higher price, so that you don't have to put as much effort, right? I only have to sell probably a fourth of what the high volume sellers are selling to get the same amount of margin in sales dollars. Because even though they might do 4 times as much sales in a month, right? Some might do $20,000 of volume, but if they're only making 20% on what they're putting out, and I'm making 55 or 60%, then I don't have to sell as much to get their same profit numbers. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll stop rambling here in a minute and we'll jump into Q&A. But I want to address best offer now, and then we'll transition. So best offer, I personally use because I'm a part-time seller and I need motivation. So for me, getting best offers throughout the day, getting those notifications, having the opportunity to move a sale, even if it's a couple dollars below what I asked, keeps me motivated. It keeps me chugging and moving forward. So for me, that's why I use best offer. I also use it so that I can price my inventory even higher because it allows me to negotiate and still get what I want for it. It allows me to run a sale and still get what I want for it. So for me, best offer is just a tool to sell using the buy it now feature. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. That's my take on it. I think that there is no model that's perfect for everyone. And I think that it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish as a seller or as you grow your business. So I will wrap that topic up there and let people with the Q&A go. It looks like we got 39 watching live. I really appreciate you guys stopping in. If you don't mind hitting that like button for me, I'd appreciate it. So let me go up through here. Go ahead and you guys can start asking some questions you have. I'm going to jump up through here and see what I missed. Parrothead said adding best offer will give you a small bump in the search rank. I didn't know that, but I would assume that probably makes sense. eBay wants inventory to move. Kevin, I sell my clothes as used if they're used, and I sell them as new if they have tags on them. I don't sell anything new for the most part unless it has tags or it has like a string, like little plastic piece. You can tell it was new. The tags just got ripped off. I might sell that new without tags, but everything else I do is I sell it used. And I package my items in clear poly bags with an inventory label, which you saw earlier in the video, and then I mail them in 12 by 15 self-sealed poly bags. All right, Robin, I'm glad that makes sense. Thank you for the shout out there on the career. Didi said, use best offer with a sale. No room for profit for me when I do BO with a sale. Best offer. Okay, so Didi, that comes back to how you price your items. So if you're running a sale and have best offer and you don't think you have room to make a sale, make money, that's because you're pricing your inventory too low. So for me, perfect example, Ralph Lauren shirts. There are tons of them. I pick them up. I price them at $24.99, but I run a 20% off sale continuously. I run one every 2 days. When it ends, I just redo it. Get some urgency with buyers who come and see my items. So that puts it down to $19.99. And now I want to sell it for no less than $16, which is like, I try not to do. I try $17 to my floor. So now I have $3 of wiggle room. If someone sends me a best offer, I counter with $18.99. If they send me a counter, I counter with $17.99. If they send me a counter, I counter with $16.99. And I just won't go below that. So that comes back to pricing, Didi. Just really think about that when you're pricing your items. B. Robert said, how did you come up with your margin of 60%? So that's just from me tracking my business over the last 2 years. So I track my business very closely. I track my my cost of goods with all my other expenses, and I have a really good grasp on what I make as a profit margin after fees, after supplies, after shipping, after all of that. So I made it was about 57% last year when I just finished up my taxes for margin. So like a pre-tax margin. So that's where I got that from. There's a question here from Arwen. Do Columbia regular shirts sell for a good price? It really depends on the what Columbia product it is. So PFG stuff will sell. It's been a lot slower moving than lately. The bigger sizes, like Parrothead saying, the bigger sizes sell better. I've noticed the market has gotten really saturated lately. So I've been selling mine for the high teens. I used to get like high 20s for them. So I'm definitely not picking them up as often. Treasure Hunter said, what are your best and worst months for selling men's clothing? Oh, it's a weird question for me, Treasure. And the only reason I say that is because since August of last year, my trajectory has literally been like this. And it's only because of the amount of effort I'm doing in listing items. So it's hard for me to tell. But before, I guess I just don't really have a way to tell that. All I can say is that last August I think I did like $3,000, and the last 2 months I've done about just under $6,000. And this month I think I'm gonna hopefully hit 7K, and that trajectory should just keep going up. So I think it directly relates, Treasure, and I think what you're getting at is your listing, how many items you list each month is going to translate into your sales. I mean, that's the way it works. It comes down to a numbers game as long as you're getting quality inventory. You said I need to lower percent of sale perhaps to allow, yeah, or you could, maybe you're running a sale percent off too high. I do 20%, that works for me. Parrothead said, every time you get an offer, you get a search bump as well. So always counter every offer keeps you moving. I didn't know that, Parrot. Thank you for letting me know that. I'm learning. Went, yes, Nat Nass is a really good niche brand to pick up, especially their silk shirts. If you can find their silk, like the bowling style shirts that Charlie Sheen wears on 2.5 Men, those, they sell well. I actually just picked one up the other day. I usually can get like mid-30s for those if they're all silk. Bob asked, do you offer global shipping? I have sold a few items that way. Yes, I only use global shipping for international sales, Bob. For me, it's just less complicated. I don't know. I don't have the time for the couple sales I might get the other way. So I just offer a global shipping program. It's easier for me. It covers me as a seller. It's worry-free. So thanks, Fairhead. I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment. And you're listing an XL1 or XXL one right now. Good deal. Yeah, guys. I know a lot of you, I'm getting a lot of questions about like how to get to this level of sales when you're part-time. It just comes back to listing. You got to think about, I've been listing, so in the fall, August, September, October, November, and December, I listed 200 items or more. And I've listed 350 in both January and February. Why is that painting always out of focus? Did you paint it? Prof Sales was asked. Yeah, sure. That's my signature right there. You see? Now it's that abstract art. Shannon picked it out. You better be careful. I'll let her know that you're making fun of it. Scott said, do you pick up Nat Nast that are plain without embroidery? Depends on the material. I pretty much pick up Nat Nast anything as long as there's not flaws on it. I mean, but you're at least going to get $20 for most items that are Nat Nast, unless they're just like a cotton, like a basic cotton, and it's an awful looking color or something. I don't know. Kevin asked, have you been focusing mainly on men's clothing? What are other best categories? Yeah, so I pretty much do. You're making props. Prof said I was actually making fun of my paintability. That's fair. My paintability is very, very lacking. But to answer your question, Kevin, about men's clothing, I only sell men's clothing for the most part, like 98%, and then I've been moving into women's jeans. And when I say men's clothing, I do blazers, suits, ties, dress shirts, pants, jeans, shoes. So pretty much I've grown into every category of men's shoes. So that's why I can source a lot more when I go out, because I'm looking at every area of the store. For example, I hit one thrift store this morning and I found 32 things. So like that, when you grow in that many categories, you can do that. And I don't say there's any best categories, Kevin, because in every category there's home runs. The only way I look at categories is the amount of inventory available to me. And where I am in Charlotte, there's just a ton of all of it. So I'm just fortunate. Arwen said, do you pick up golf shirts and any golf course logos on? That's a great question. So a lot of high-end brands like Peter Millar, even Under Armour for the most part. I'm trying to think of some other, like Donald Ross, I just showed you guys. Like different high-end golf brands like that, I will pick up if they have the golf course embroidery. The only time I won't is if it's like a golf tournament sponsored by a company and it has tons of embroidery on it. I usually won't pick those up. But if it's just like a little country club logo, like on the front chest or something, I always pick those up. I just price them a little lower. Parrot said, off-topic question for you. How do you determine a blazer size when the size label is missing? That's a great question. So I learned this actually from Steve Rakin's ebook, Blazing Profits, from way back in the day. And basically, the easiest way to say it, and this isn't a hard, fast rule because it all depends on styles. A, you can go to manufacturer website and compare the measurements, the key measurements. Usually they have it. And two, if you take the waist measurement and double it, it's a rough idea, like double it minus 1 or 2, depending on the style of the blazer. That gets you to roughly your size. And then the length, anything that's like 34 inches or longer is going to be long. Anything that's like 31 or shorter is going to be short. So it's not a hard, fast rule, but I'm trying to do some collaboration and get a suits and blazers type show with another reseller here in the near future, because I know that's been a big topic for everyone. So I've got that in the works. Hopefully we'll have that in the next couple of weeks for you guys. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. We'll say we got 47 people watching live. Appreciate you taking time out of your Sunday to join me here. I've been spending too much time in my storage unit today, something with shelving. But I got to tell you, I got the infrastructure in my storage unit now for 1,600 items easily. And if I add probably 4 or 5 more shelves, I think I can comfortably get like 2,500 to 3,000 ish, depending on how I set it up, in just one 10 by 20 storage locker. Kevin said, I'm particularly a small person, so I tend to look at smaller clothing. Just size, small, medium, large, extra large, sell best for men's clothing. So bigger sizes or really small sizes sell better just because it's not the mainstream. The sizes in the middle kind of go a little slower, but if you have the right brand, it just doesn't matter. But if you can find bigger sizes, then they definitely sell better, especially like an extra big or an extra tall. Thank you, Ellen. Parrotheads, I typically try to avoid blazed out size tags just for that fact. Yeah, and I did for a long time, Parrothead. It probably wasn't until about 6 to 8 months ago I got brave and started just putting in the extra time to research what the size should be and estimating. And when you are estimating, always estimate smaller than bigger, because it's easier. Like, if you say it's bigger, it's harder to let it out to match with like this material, versus it's easier to take something in if it's a little big. So that's just what I always say it's smaller than it is. If I think it's a 42 or a 43, I always go 42. Best Western shirts to pick up is a question in the chat. Actually, so I just found one last night or 2 nights ago. First time ever finding this brand. It's called Scully, SCULLY. Comps were like $50 to $100 used for it, and it had some cool embroidery and like flip cuff, like contrast flip cuffs. Real snap. So I guess that's my new favorite brand. But like bread and butter favorite Western brand is Salt Valley, and the sell-through is 100% for it. It sells within like 2 or 3 weeks of listing them. I get like high 20s, low 30s for them. Mommy Reporter asked, do you label your listings with anything so you can find the item easily? That's a great question. And actually, I just switched how I do this probably about 3 weeks ago, thanks to some discussion with some friends. And actually, so Chris, I believe his channel is called 10K on the Bay. If you haven't checked it out, definitely hit it up. He's doing some insane volume. He's on the West Coast. He's been buying in bulk from the bins and just churning through men's clothing. But in either case, to answer your question, we started putting the inventory number at the very end of the title, so that when I go to get my inventory for my storage unit, I can see it while I'm scrolling through on my phone right away. I don't have to like click into the item. So I have the inventory number. I'll show you, like on my plastic in here. I was doing the weight on them, but I'm not anymore. It's just too much work. It's easier when I shift to put the weight in. And then I just look on my phone. I have it in the title, so I just literally match it up. I go to my bin, grab it, and easy to go. Let me see what else we got. I got a couple more minutes here, guys. Take a couple more questions. I got softball starting up. That's why I had to do it a little earlier today. Softball's starting back up here. It's getting nice in North Carolina. So Shannon and I have a game at 5 o'clock. Gonna take the dog and have some fun being outside. And then I'm gonna be listing all night. I've got family coming to town. I'm pretty pumped about Wednesday to Wednesday this next week. So I'm just trying to work ahead so I can relax with them. Kevin asked, have I thought about possibly using an online storefront instead of eBay? That's a great question. I actually have put some longer-term thought into it, because if I do go full-time, I probably will dabble with buying in bulk a bit more and trying to expand out. And if I'm buying bulk new tag stuff like return items, I probably will want an online storefront like Shopify to kind of dual purpose. But right now, I'm just not big enough to worry about that, and being part-time, it just doesn't make sense. But yes, I have thought about it a little bit. I always try to think of the future and where I'm going to grow to. So thanks, Chewy. I appreciate that. Any last second questions here? I try to keep these to a half hour. Yeah, no problem, Parrothead. Try to keep them to a half hour. I love consuming content, and I consume a lot at work. I watch everyone's YouTube videos, but I'm also a big believer in like spending the time building your business. So I don't want to take too much time away from you guys. Hopefully you got some good brands. Hopefully kind of that debate of buy it now versus auction makes sense. That there is no perfect answer. It's just what you're trying to accomplish and understanding what it accomplishes. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Stephen Marshall said you can also make your own item specific. I put it in an item specific name, location, then enter my bin and lot number. I also put the bin lot under the SKU line. Yeah, so you can. I experimented with that in the notes section, a couple things like that. It's just an extra step when listing, and I'm finding like I've been putting it in the title of my items now. It doesn't impact my sales whatsoever. And to have it just there in the title, it makes it that much easy. If I ever exported my sales and did a spreadsheet, and this is kind of just if you're familiar with Excel, I could actually text the columns because I separate it with a dash, and I could just parse it completely off and have the whole list right there if I needed to. So I think that it's working for me, but I really appreciate that tip, and anyone else might want to use that tip too. Yeah, so guys, anyone who's emailed me, and I know some people think that their emails are getting bounced. They're not getting bounced. I respond to emails like every couple days, and I do them in batches just because I'm getting 20 to 40 of them, and so I'm replying with my spreadsheet and those other things. So just please be patient, and I'm not ignoring you. I promise. I love hearing from you guys. And I love seeing how you guys are doing and answering questions. Just for me to put this much effort into growing business, I have to batch my tasks. So yeah, it even means email. I batch it. So usually either tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll probably be responding to a ton of emails. Flippin' Motown said, Luke, do you have any videos on how you ship suits? I have shipped lower end suits just by folding them and cramming them into a padded, but I would imagine a higher end should be boxed. That's a really good question. So, and thanks, John. I appreciate it. I have sold, so I just sold a blazer for, it was that J. Crew Ludlow blazer. It was like a lower piano. I sold it for like $95 or $92. I just shipped it in a self-seal poly bag so that it wasn't like crammed in anything. And I just ate the extra shipping. I think it was like $8 priority versus a flat rate. Just to, I don't know, the presentation is a little better coming that way. You could put it in a priority box. I just didn't happen to have one. I would probably recommend suits going in a priority box just because you can fold them. Like I would put them in a poly bag to make sure moisture doesn't get to them, and then I'd put them in the box and ship them that way. If you're selling a high-end suit, you're getting $100+ for it. Spending $9 or $10 is like it's worth it. If it's like that Joseph A. Banks suit I have here, I'm just gonna put it in a self-seal poly bag. It's gonna go in a 12x15 self-seal. It's gonna probably be $10 to ship priority, and that's fine with me. I haven't had any complaints. Like I said, I've had one complaint ever about putting in a blazer in a cardboard flat rate envelope. And once I explained to him that we operate on the assumption that you're going to dry clean it when you receive it, he's like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. And there was no issue. So, and that's my premise, guys, for suits like blazers. No one's going to spend that much money on a suit and then not get it dry cleaned when they know it's used. Like, especially a high-end suit. So that's just and yeah, Bob just said priority mail region A and B boxes are the best. I totally agree. Hi, Better Barbie. Thanks for stopping in. You'll have to replay it afterwards. No problem missing it. I appreciate you stopping in anyways. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. I've got quite a bit of stuff to get done here before our softball game. Appreciate everyone stopping in and all the comments and feedback. I will get to everyone's emails and answer those here in the next day or so. And I'm going to work on a brand review video. I've had a couple requests to bring those back. I haven't done one in a while, so I'm going to, not sure what brand yet. If you have suggestions, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do one on a particular brand if you want to know about it. So have a great day, guys. Take care.